Ready, set, art. Part two of classical monsters for your sketchbook. So we already did, hold on, Wolfman, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein. So next is the creature from the Black Lagoon. I love this costume. I mean, the shaping and how it makes it more like a fish with the gills. I mean, changing a fish into a person, more humanoid, is really interesting how they designed that one. And then, of course, the Wicked Witch of the West. If you're not familiar, think of Wizard of Oz. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to start with this one. So when you look at this, this is actually your three-quarter view. It's your three-quarter view. And I love the dynamic pose here. He's creeping. He's like getting ready to pounce, right? He's getting ready. So I'm going to put this one right here. Okay. And I'm going to first put in the axis line of the spine. His shoulders curve. And then if you look, that chin is below the shoulders, right? Because he's almost hunching over. So I'm going to make sure that the head is lower, right? Does that make sense? I hope it does. Then from there, I'm going to put in my axis line. Remember, it's a three-quarter view. That means this line is not exactly in the middle. And then if you go halfway down, that's where the eyes are, and see how I curve it? And I C measure, always C measure, right? And then halfway down again for the nose. That's where the nose is. And because the mouth is opening up, now I can extend the mouth a little bit, right? Because the mouth is opening up. And this time I am changing the mouth because this is the part they kind of modified. Let's add in those fins. I love this fin shape that they add. And then there's another one. I think it was smart to do too when they first designed it. Okay. And then another one. This case, what's interesting is the eyes, right? The eyes are a little bigger. And again, I'm following the axis line. And then they have this serious, like, brow that comes down into it, like this, right? Serious, serious brow. If you follow this axis line, that helps to make this little kind of mohawk fin. And then we're into the nose, which is almost like really not a nose. And then we add to the lip, kind of like this, putting lines in. He has a mouth, and then it's slightly shaded right here. Let's get inside. So you can see it's starting to get there. I understand style-wise, I'm putting the torso in now. See that? That's the top of the rib cage. And then the waist. I'm going to angle from shoulder to elbow to figure out this part. And then look how I do the hand. I look at the hand and I create the whole shape first. And you can see that it's big because it's coming at you. You know what that means? It's called foreshortening. Foreshortening. So if a fist was coming at you, the fist would be really big and the elbow would be really small. Okay, and then I'm drawing in where the other fist is. See that? That's big because it's coming at you. So what I do is I just go ahead and put the size of the overall fisting hand in, so I get it just right. I got to get that elbow just right. See how it's starting to look like it? And then there's some water here. Students always ask, do I have to include the water in all this? My answer is yes. Yes, you do. Okay, so now let's figure out all of this stuff. I'm going to go ahead and put in this interesting kind of webby-like shape. It kind of rounds out like this, right? You don't really see it from this side, but I'll gently put it in. And then put in part of the arm. And there's these weird little scales here and there. It's kind of creepy. It's almost wrinkly on this side here. Right? Kind of like this. And then they add, I don't know where this part comes from because it's not very fishy, but I guess it reminds you of the bottom of an alligator. So then you put this shape here, and when you do this, you go here and go like this. Okay? And that's how you figure it out. But I actually erase part of it so it doesn't look so awkward. That's all you really do there. Okay? There's this part. Now let's figure out the hands. So the hands are interesting. You want to go with the thumb first. So I put in this curve, that's this part here. And then this is coming at you, so I'm going to put a circle there, like a little half circle. And then this little claw. Next one. This one is coming at you, so all you see is the claw. Next one. Again, because it's coming at you, I just put a circle and then put in the claw. See how that works? We don't see the whole finger. We're just seeing the tip. Right? Whatever you see is what you draw. What you don't see, you don't draw it. Does it make sense? See, there's the bottom of the palm, so now I can fix that. And put these curves in. Does that make sense? And I'm going to put in this part, that's this. Okay. Now we can figure out the other hand. So let's go and put this part in. That's this. And then this thumb. And again, we're just seeing the front of the claw. You're not drawing the whole thing. You're not drawing this part. You're drawing that part. Same here. We're just drawing the front of the claw. Same with this one. It's starting to curve a tiny bit, so you barely see the finger. Another one. And the last one. And then I kind of go back and reshape that palm and add that little line in. Okay, so detail-wise, I mean, shaping-wise, we basically have everything in, and then you would add the shaded water and the moss coming down because it's swampy. He's in the lagoon. And detail-wise, you're getting it to this point. Detail-wise, that's what I'm looking for. Time for our last one is the witch. Now, if you're drawing your own witch later for Monster Spotlight Portrait, I feel like there's two ways to draw witches. There's the cute witch, and then the typical witch that has the bigger nose and the warts, and she's older. And you could go that route either way. I'm just, again, my theme was classical monsters. It was classical monsters. So I had to go with the original with the big nose, right? Okay. So let's start with this one. This one's a side profile, right? So I'm going to go ahead and start with that jawline. She has a thinner face. The woman that played her, she had a really narrow head. You kind of go like this, but then you have to include the back of her head, right? That's the skull. That's where her brain is. The ear, right? Here's our hairline. She has that amazing bun in the back. Okay? And then she was almost flat right here. They added the nose in, obviously. If you go from here to here and find the halfway point, that's where the eyes are. From here to here, find the halfway point. That's where the nose ends. And then from here to here where the mouth is. Okay? Halfway down. So half, half, and half. Okay. So we're going to bring the forehead down. Make this nose. If your hook is different than mine, that's fine. See that? And then her eye, because if a normal eye is like this, we're essentially cutting it in half. So we barely see. She did have tiny little eyes, right? She had tiny little eyes, but she had crazy long lashes. And then the eyelid and a thicker brow, right? And then she was almost smirking. I'm going to do something evil. That's what she was thinking. Her mouth was open, kind of goes like this, and then curves back up, right? Remember, she said, I'm going to get you, my pretty. So she's all smiling. She's happy about it. They did extend her chin, so I'm going to go ahead and extend her chin. See, we're actually getting there, right? Now, necks don't start there. This is the back of the head, so her neck is actually back here. Okay? So just so you know. Even though we're going to cover it up with a turtleneck. Okay, and then down with the chest here, her arms here, and then her other shoulders here. So bring down that arm. This arm's coming up, and I'm casting a spell. That's like what her arm is doing here, right? And she kind of tilts her hand like this, right? Ooh, goes like that. And then, because the way she does it, if you were looking at it from, normally we draw it like this, and that would mean all the knuckles are behind. But in the photo, she was tilting her hand. So we actually really do see all her little fingers. Right? Okay. From there, you draw the same type of shape, but over here, you're drawing the shadow. So yes, I want you to draw the shadow. Go ahead and put in her crazy hat. If you look up the history of witches, it's actually kind of interesting. It's not what you would think. They were people in farmers markets selling a certain thing. But you know, and they actually wore hats like this. It was almost like a uniform. All right, so we have the basic shape in. You're going to, from there, do a lot of shading. So get your bigger pencil out, a regular number 2. Do the shadow here, because I really like the idea of that shadow there. It's a really nice contrast, and do some shading in here as well. So I hope that helped you to figure out some classical monsters, right? Thank you and good luck.